Greetings, sending all some warm, positive vibrations. Let's get some water in a wine glass, or some juice or some tea. This is Body-Culinary. And just finished watering in the garden. I had a lot of chores to do today, back to back. And of course, the garden stimulates so much thought, right? And just quiet reflection. And I was just thinking, how uh, how can we create or generate better children, human beings, citizens, in the wake of all kind of traumatized, um, oftentimes selfish, but mostly coming from a space of traumatized individuals roaming the planet. So I just want to explore quickly before I'm doing some laundry to remove some stains from um, the weather on my curtains out of the garden. I'm about to run to the next project. So I figure I will come on here before I go run to my client. So this is Body-Culinary, chef, trainer, natural born woman, lover of a natural lifestyle. I did say mom, right? And on this channel, I love to share encouragement of peaceful consumption. That's consumption that's peaceful to your brain, your arteries, your reproductive organs, your mood, eating for longevity, vitality, and your mood, right? And that, for me, what that looks like is fruits, vegetables, seeds, nuts, sprouted legumes. You can find whatever ratios work for you, however that is the center. And so, of course, if we're eating food, it would make sense, as well as for so many therapeutic practices, that we start and cultivate a garden. So I love to encourage folks to garden. And I can take this off. I was covering my hair. Just came out of the garden. I don't want pieces of trees in my hair. So I also share encouragement to start a garden, as well as motivation, encouragement to start a personal movement practice or reactivate a personal movement practice. A lot of people have injuries and all different reasons why perhaps they're not moving. We know over here that that movement is very key to therapy, to rejuvenation, to longevity, for the results that most of us want to see. And it's something you can do without even leaving your house. I'm also one of those folks that popped out onto the planet with very, very fine, kinky Afro textured hair, and I'm not twisting it, and I'm not doing all of that stuff. So those are some of the things that I share on this channel. So something I was just thinking of, in the age of narcissism, how can we create better human beings? Not all of us will get it perfect, but what lessons have we learned? And so in the current climate, it can be observed that we hear the term narcissism, sociopath, psychopath. You can see how human beings, first of all, how we're treating ourselves, but definitely how we're treating each other, and it's not looking really good. So are we learning any lessons? I wonder, are we learning lessons, and what could we do differently? If we have small children, definitely before you decide to have any children, way before, because we can see it appears that many of us are not being really diligent about the impact is not hitting us until way after the fact, until it's kind of too late, of choosing very intentionally who we choose to parent with, right? Many of us, we get so enamored, especially, like I said, when we love baby clothes and they're so precious and it's new life, and it's hypnotic. We get really drawn into the new phase, of the baby, the infant stage, is something so precious. And so I wonder, and anything that I say on the channel is just one woman's perspective, not necessarily the truth. But having raised a son and just looking around me, I often wonder, as much as we complain about men folks, if the impact of our personal choice, and even perhaps our own selfishness or our own trauma, if we are really, really considering, like, what will stop women and girls? What could potentially stop us in our tracks? When we can look down the line and see that if children don't get little humans don't get all that they need, all that, as Dr. Francis Cresswell said, lap time. If we don't get all the lap time, not just the things, the food, and I see little babies with little gold chains. I'm not making it bad or wrong, and they've got sneakers, and they got all the outfits. But what human beings where you or I need to become fully developed and fulfilled human beings. It doesn't appear that when we're younger that we're mature enough, that we're schooled enough or we've been trained enough to stop and make really, really good choices so that these human beings will have all that they need. And it's not just um, food and clothing and shelter, the emotional stability, because we can see we have a lot of emotionally unstable folks, the mental stability, the nutrition, the protection, because these are the things that I see that are contributing the most to these traumatized individuals who become very callous to other folks' life because they didn't get what they need. They weren't protected. They were violating. So I can say, as a woman, as womb carriers, we bear a lot of responsibility for choosing, right? And not just winging it with other people's lives because the results are speaking for themselves, right? So that we can have some families that are intact just by choosing intentionally and preparing. And if we're not prepared, maybe we got to forego it and pause so that we don't have to end up in situations like clinics because we're being very unintentional. And it says to me that the impact of this choice was so focused on pleasure. We're enticed, actually, I would say by popular culture, not to be responsible. I don't think that the pleasure is so much the problem. It's the responsibility that goes with having reproductive organs and the ability to populate the planet with other human beings who have not been prepared for mental, emotional stability. So it says something to our immaturity and our willingness to be honest with ourselves that we're not being mature and we're not being encouraged. The popular music, is caught so in drama. It's just not encouraging us, and this has nothing to do with religion. We're not encouraged to make mature, well thought out, generational decisions until it's not even until these conversations are had as an afterthought, and it's too late. It's totally ineffective. And so, if you think about, and I'd love to hear in the comments, what do you think that you personally, what would you have liked to have had in your parenting experience, right? Without making our parents bad or wrong, what would you have liked for your parents to be able to provide for you other than material things? Or is it material things, or is it more money, or perhaps had they been better prepared, or more physical protection, or more access to resources, which would require that our parents be present, or more fun time if we're not constantly in survival mode, if the parents aren't in survival mode. So this speaks to planning, forethought, thinking about human beings, their full life as children, young adults. You don't know how these human beings, we don't know what they're going to come out to be, but we do know that human beings need physical protection. They need nutrition for their brains. So they need our bodies, both parents, to be very, very healthy. So this speaks to a lot of responsibility and accountability. So just as I'm sitting here and I'm scrubbing, one of the this came up because I'm thinking as I'm scrubbing, right? And I don't mind. I could do a wash machine, but also sometimes I find it very therapeutic and nostalgic to wash things by hand. Not all the time, I can have some help too. but I don't mind. It makes me think of my grandmother, and it made me think of really of work ethic, right? And our children and boys today, again, if we're not choosing intentionally, I don't see quite often boys working on projects, or girls for that matter either, with the fathering energy, the parenting energy, building something. Everything usually is like a Chuck E. Cheese or going out for fast food, but I don't see us engaging in projects together. I know I speak about Grandma Lou all the time because, I was grating coconut and rolling up pennies and doing all these little projects with her. And those experiences, somehow they have been the catalyst for so much stimulation around responsibility. And, she wasn't quote unquote rich, but she gave me such a wealth. She is one of my icons and my superheroes. So that just got me thinking as I watched her move like an ant and a hummingbird, cleaning, organizing, making things better, always a sing-song voice, the most pleasant and present human being. that I can imagine. And she was no lazy woman. So I just think about work ethic and working on projects, which is why I say I like to come together around an activity. So YouTube is usually, we have talking heads and icons and talking about celebrities. But I found I got so much bang for my buck from my grandma Lou from doing those little projects, as well as my godparents who constantly gave me all of these assignments, right? Not my blood parents, but again, one of my icons. Working with statues or asking me to just all these projects, research, and constantly having my hands in doing something. And I learned so much through the process of the task they had me do. A lot of times in front of the screen, I've observed that information is coming one way and being dumped, and it's somehow something is not being stimulated. I don't know that we're being developed. So anyway, this is more incentive to start a garden. Let me know what your thoughts are around this. I'm about to jump off here and go finish scrubbing this. Go train a client, as well as getting, I have some other guests coming. So it's going to be a fun, exciting day, which is why I can't spend time on this hair. And by the way, the quickie style today is nothing, just the hair. And I put these 3 little beads on it. Sometimes I gotta be careful because my hair can't usually take beads, so it's a loose little tie at the end. So all I did is put a little scarf under to go out into the garden. Nobody got time for that. Got time for other stuff. So I'm hoping that you all create a great day on purpose. Do feel free to avail yourself of the guide. Whole Living Foods in the Hood, Part 1 with menus to fit your budget. So you can see sample budgets of whole, fresh, unprocessed foods, which is the medicine which will really nourish your immune system, as well as natural beauty, no products, using pretty much food on your hair and skin. And you can find those on Body-Culinary.com. Sign up to get on the mailing list so you know about events and classes. And I'm inviting you all to create a great day on purpose. You might need to lay out on the floor and take a mental health break and then pick up and go again. All right, see you all soon. Like, comment, subscribe.